In this video, we will be discussing how to paragraph shrink a passage. This is a nonfiction passage that we will be paragraph shrinking, but you can also use this strategy on a fiction passage. The difference between a fiction passage and a nonfiction passage goes beyond in the plot as well as the main idea and details. So for the purpose of this video, we will be discussing details and the key words when we are reading through. A key word is a word that is repeated more than 2 times. So after we read each section, we will underline the details and the keywords. Let's get started. The first thing that you do when you paragraph shrink is you decide if it is nonfiction or fiction. So I've already told you that it is nonfiction, but some key ways to find if it's fiction or nonfiction is to quickly skim through the first paragraph and even look on the page for text features. Text features is the biggest and most important way to know that it's nonfiction. So here we see a photograph and it has a caption. We also can scroll down and see that there are bold words. And a lot of this is about facts and they have titles and subtitles. So we can automatically say it's nonfiction and we write that up at the top of our paper. So we remind ourselves if it's nonfiction, then we're going to be doing main idea and key terms. Okay, and then we'll be finding the details that support our main idea. All right, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to number your paragraphs. This is very important because sometimes when you are taking an assessment, the paragraphs are not numbered and they'll ask you to go to paragraph 6 and you have no idea where paragraph 6 is because you didn't number your paragraphs. So it's very important that you number them. So we start 1, and every number goes with the new paragraph. So wherever the space or wherever the interspace is on the passage, that's where you are going to put the next number. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we don't have any more paragraphs, just make sure. And then we're going to go back to the top. And now we are going to chunk our paragraphs. When we chunk our paragraphs, we are drawing a line in between paragraphs. And these lines represent chunks of the passage that we think we can read, remember, and write details about. So we don't want to read the whole thing because we're going to forget what the first paragraph was about. So we're going to chunk them so we can take bit by bit and read to remember and read to learn the information. Okay, so this first paragraph stands alone, so that's a great paragraph to just put a line through. If we scroll down, there are sections in between 2 and 3 and 3 and 4. So we can draw a line through the sections. And then we have 2 paragraphs at the end. Sometimes when there are larger sections, we are going to break them up. Because this is one section, I think that we can handle these 2 paragraphs, and that will be our last section. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to begin reading our passage, underlining the key details, the key terms, and if we need to, writing little details on the side of our paper. So let me change the color so it doesn't confuse us, and let's begin. This is called Googly-Eyed Water Wheel Scoops Up Trash in Baltimore Harbor. Mr. Trash Wheel is a water wheel. He has googly eyes and a friendly face. Mr. Trash Wheel scoops up garbage near the Baltimore waterfront. Baltimore is a city in Maryland. Many people visit the waterfront. It has an aquarium and art and science museums. People don't visit the harbor much. Plastic, tires, and other trash flow into it all the time. So we've reached our line, and that's where we're going to stop. So now we're going to look back through and only underline facts. What are the facts? So we read Mr. Trash Wheel is a water wheel. That's a fact. Mr. Trash Wheel scoops up trash or garbage near the Baltimore waterfront. That's a fact. We know Baltimore is a city in Maryland. That's a fact. Plastic, tires, and other trash flow into it is a fact. So those are our facts in this passage. And mostly this is about who Mr. Trash Wheel is. So now what we're going to do is we are going to underline the key terms. So these are words that are repeated more than twice. So when we read them, we have wheel, water, Mr. Trash Wheel. Let's see. Water, Baltimore, Baltimore, trash, waterfront, garbage, Mr. Trash Wheel. So those are very important words that help us understand what the passage or what the paragraph is about. So if at any time you need to pause and make sure you have everything underlined if you're following along, or you can write down each section on your paper, please do so. We're going to continue. All right, paragraph 2. We're going to read it, stop at the line, and do the exact same thing. Here we go. Project Mr. Trash Wheel. The Waterfront Partnership of Baltimore is a local group. It keeps the waterfront clean. The water in the harbor is filthy, the group says. It hopes to make the water clean enough to swim in. They plan to have it ready to swim in by 2020. Mr. Trash Wheel is its most successful project. A Baltimore citizen invented Mr. Trash Wheel. His name is John Kellett. He has collected more than 1.5 million pounds of trash since 2014. So let's go through and let's underline our most important facts. So, what about the Waterfront Partnership? It helps the local group and it keeps the waterfront clean. Uh, who invented Mr. Trash Wheel is very important, and also invented is a bold word. So when we see bold words, we should automatically underline that sentence. His name is John Kellett, and he's collected more than 1.5 million pounds of trash since 2014. All right, now what we can do is we can underline our most repeated words. So we've already had waterfront, harbor, Baltimore, waterfront, clean water, Mr. Trash Wheel, Baltimore. Let's see, trash. Very good. Alrighty, let's go down to paragraph 3. Paragraph 3. Tweets a lot on Twitter. People love Mr. Trash Wheel in Baltimore. His picture is on t-shirts. People dress up as Mr. Trash Wheel for Halloween. The garbage wheel likes social media. It tweets a lot on Twitter. Mr. Trash Wheel is a teaching tool. He helps people understand pollution, said Rebecca Woods. She is a Baltimore city official. A lot of garbage enters the water system. It gets pumped out into rivers. Mr. Trash Wheel has had a big effect on the city. The Baltimore City Council makes laws for Baltimore. It has stopped restaurants from using styrofoam packaging. Styrofoam is a big source of pollution. Okay, so the first thing that we see here are two bolded words. So we're going to go ahead and underline those sentences because they are facts. Mr. Trash Wheel is a teaching tool. Styrofoam is a big source of pollution. Now, what else can we underline here would be a lot of garbage enters the water system and it gets pumped into the rivers. And also, the Baltimore City Council makes laws for Baltimore. That helps us understand why Mr. Trash Wheel would have been created. And the other ones are mostly opinions. like people love Mr. Trashwell. Well, maybe not everyone loves Mr. Trashwell. That's an opinion. And then the others are irrelevant to how Mr. Trashwell operates or what Mr. Trashwell does. So now we're going to go and we're going to underline the most repeated words. So here, Mr. Trashwheel, people, Baltimore, people, Mr. Trashwheel, garbage, wheel, Mr. Trashwheel, helps people, pollution, Baltimore, garbage, water, Mr. Trashwheel, Baltimore, Baltimore, styrofoam, styrofoam, and pollution. Very good. Okay, so now let's go to paragraph 4. Ooh. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Let's continue with paragraph 4. Cousin is smaller but quicker. Now Mr. Trashwheel has a cousin. She also eats trash. Her name is Professor Trashwheel. Professor Trashwheel is a smaller and has a quicker wheel. She was put in a different part of the waterway. The current moves faster. It is polluted with smaller bits of trash. The group has also built floating islands around the harbor. They help clean the water. The islands are habitats for ducks, turtles, and other water creatures. So let's go through, underline our facts. So Mr. Trashwheel has a cousin. She also eats trash. Her name's Professor Trashwheel. And it's smaller because it collects smaller bits of trash. And the waterway where she is polluted. Also, we see some bolded words, so we're going to underline that sentence. Let's go ahead and underline our repeated words. Mr. Trashwheel, Trashwheel, trash, Professor Trashwheel, Professor Trashwheel, wheel, polluted, trash, harbor, clean water. Very good. All right, and our last paragraph. On the weekends, Wood sometimes checks in on Mr. Trashwheel. Her son likes to go with her. He is 7 years old. Wood says her son hates littering. He gets upset when people throw garbage on the ground. He tells them to pick up their trash. Mr. Trashwheel makes her son feel better, Wood said. He helps keep the harbor clean. To my son, Mr. Trashwheel is a hero. So in this paragraph, there are facts. However, the facts are not relevant or do not go along with who Mr. Trashwheel is. This is about the city councilwoman, Mrs. Woods, and really there are lots of opinions in here, like to my son, Mr. Trashwheel is a hero. That's an opinion. That's not a fact. So we're just going to go ahead and underline our key terms, or the words that are repeated more than one time. So we have Mr. Trashwheel, garbage, trash, Mr. Trashwheel, Mr. Trashwheel. Alrighty? And that is how you would paragraph shrink your passage in order to answer questions or to help you with the next exercise with a passage that has multiple paragraphs. So this is a very key skill, a very good skill to have when you're reading passages over and over again, or when you find yourself not understanding what a passage is. You can break it down so that you can look at each paragraph and know what are the key details. Thank you for watching.